Hi, this is Dizzy or Classy Aspie depending on where you're watching me from, and I want to quickly address the issue of Hans Asperger being a Nazi or working with the Nazis. My issue with this is that this should not be news to anyone. This should not be news. Any doctor working in or under, in Nazi Germany or under Hitler's rule in any other country, they had to take oaths, and they basically had a gun held to their head, and they had to do what the Nazis wanted, what Hitler wanted. This should not be a surprise to anyone that Asperger was helping kind of send people with disabilities off to death. Whether or not he wanted to, what his thought process was without being under a Nazi regime, we'll never know because he's dead. But the thing is this should not be news to anybody. This should not be news, especially to any advocates. We need to stop worrying about people being a product of their time. Now, let's break this down, and let's say that, because I know a lot of people use it, with it being Asperger's and it being, our diagnosis, or for me, it was my original diagnosis, Asperger syndrome. I mean, now that's autism 1. So let's break this down. What if, in an imaginary scenario, it was called Hitler syndrome, or it was, shortened to Hitler's instead of Asperger's, because let's just pretend that Hitler somehow found out about this form or specific, little type of being autistic, this specific way of having autistic traits. And what if we just kept finding out more and more bad stuff about Hitler? What do you want us to do about it? Our diagnosis was already changed in the DSMV to autism 1 rather than Asperger's. The dude didn't name it himself. He called it autistic psychopathy. You're expecting a lot of high road morality from a man who called what we're diagnosed with autistic psychopathy. He didn't call it Asperger syndrome. He didn't name it after himself. A woman did that. So, y'all need to educate yourselves before you get all panties in a bunch about the fact that someone under Nazi rule was under Nazi rule. I cannot understand why y'all are surprised about this. And no, it's not cool. It's not I am from a Jewish background. I'm not, over here going to sympathize with it. But it shouldn't be surprising either. So, why is everyone so surprised by this? I'm sorry, I just cannot wrap my head around people being surprised that people under Nazi rule did things that they were forced to do under Nazi rule. Okay? And our diagnosis is already changed. Asperger's is not in the DSMV. I could go grab my copy and show you right now, but, everyone tells me Google it anytime I ask a question, so I'm just going to tell y'all, get on Google, Anyway, I was just going to address that and just show my general astonishment at the ignorance of society and I'm just flabbergasted. Y'all really thought that a dude that worked under Nazi rule wasn't going to do what he had to do under Nazi rule. You thought he was a little Superman running around saving kids. Get real. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a great, Thursday.